guess we're about to find out. It's back to Hogwarts Day. That bit was too much for me. Yeah, I think it could be true, you know. Usually I cut these bits out. Snape were trying to protect her. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. And welcome back to another reading vlog in the Harry Potter reading series. For those of you who don't know, I have been reading the Harry Potter series for the very first time. In today's reading vlog, we are going to be reading Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Before I get into this reading vlog and before you watch this reading vlog, if you haven't seen the other reading vlogs already, you should go back and watch them. There is a reading vlog for each of the first 6 books in the series. Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, and Half-Blood Prince. So if you haven't seen those reading vlogs, pause right here, go watch them, then come back to this one. But as I mentioned, in this reading vlog we are going to be reading Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, which is the final book in the Harry Potter series. I cannot believe that I am sat here saying to you guys, we're reading the final book in the series. I can't quite believe how quickly I've got through these books for a few reasons. Even though I'm reading these books a period of time after they were first published, I do still have that feeling of, oh, once I've read this book, it's going to be over. And I also cannot believe that after, when did this book originally come out? 2008? 2007? First published in Great Britain in 2007. You know, I can't quite believe that after all these years, I'm finally gonna know what happens. Going into the final book of the series, I do definitely have a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings overall on a general sense, particularly about coming to the end of the series and the process of reading the series as a whole. Magic in books is not something I typically gravitate towards, so the fact that I've made it to the end of this 7-book series about magic is a thing in itself. Letting you in on a tiny little bit of a secret, I have actually read the first 2 chapters, and I know that in the first chapter the book started with Voldemort saying he had to go after Harry Potter. Also, just on a very quick note before I get into the reading vlog, I just wanted to mention that even though this is going to be the final reading vlog in the series, and obviously this is the final book in the series, I am planning to make a wrap-up video after this video. I probably will mention it more as this vlog goes on, so be sure to keep an eye out for that if you want to know my thoughts over the whole series, especially because I know that there's a few of you who have paid attention to every single one of the reading vlogs. Let's get into reading this book and finding out what happens at the end of this series. So if you watched my previous reading vlog for Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, you will notice that I am dressed exactly the same as I was in the final clip. It's because I'm filming this clip on the same day that I filmed that. Today we are starting Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Let me move back into the other room because that noise is going to be so annoying. I was just looking at the contents page at the chapter headings, and I've just seen chapter 31, which is the Battle of Hogwarts. I think there's going to be some type of battle between Harry Potter and Voldemort. I don't think it's just going to be them two involved, but that's kind of what it's going to come down to. I feel pretty positive going into this book. It is 620 pages long, so one of the longer books in the series, but not the longest. I guess we're about to find out what is going to happen. It is still the same day. I've just took my jumper off. I'm going to show you where my bookmark is in the book to show you how much reading I've done today in, what would you say? If we say it's like 3:30, been here since 10:30. Still on the first page. Some of you might think I'm absolutely stupid for this, but this is me just being honest. As much as I am anticipating how this series is going to end. I think I'm putting it off. I think there is a part of me that's saying to myself, once you've read it and it's done and it's over. If I really wanted to, I could read the books again in the future. I am also considering at some point, probably I will watch the films. Again, this might sound ridiculous to people, but there's also a part of me that's like, these reading vlogs are going to be over. For you guys watching these, if you've watched them in real time, it's been 7 weeks. Me in real time, it's been give or take a month. It's become quite a little part of my routine. And do you know what else is going to be strange? I was thinking about this the other day. Something else that's going to be strange is that now, when I'm out and about, minding my own business, if I go in a shop and they sell something Harry Potter related, I'm actually going to know what it is. Because before, like, I used to see Harry Potter merch and things like all over, like there's so much of it out there that you come across it quite a lot, but I never knew what any of it was. Now I'm gonna know what it is. All these memes that I see online, I'm gonna know what they mean. Got the jumper back on. I thought we could read the first chapter together. As of right now, I don't have many thoughts, although the one thing that I will say is, obviously, I'm not sure how I feel about Snape, because I was rooting for him the entire time, and in the last book, I don't know whether I've changed my mind on him, or if in this book he's going to prove me right or wrong, I don't know, but I just had the scariest experience of my life. I went to turn the camera on to film this clip and my camera would not come on, like, at all. I also have my book here. I did read chapter 2 last night, so I'm still not very far into the book. I'm on page 22, which is actually chapter 3. If, when you've been watching these vlogs, and particularly this one right now, if you've been paying attention to the, like, timestamps on the screen when I've told you what day it is that I've been reading. Today is the 1st of September, which is back to Hogwarts Day. I've seen it so much on TikTok this morning, people posting about how it's the 1st of September. I didn't have any intentions of mentioning this in the vlog, but I felt like if I didn't acknowledge the start of the term when it's overlapped with the reading vlogs, then I feel like I should address the elephant in the room, which is that I am wearing a jumper that's got carrots on it. I don't want to show it like too close because I don't want spoilers. The wrap-up video, and I've got all the bits of information and everything that I think you guys might want to know. I apologise, but by the time this reading vlog goes up, I think I probably will have already filmed the wrap-up video, so if there was something you were wanting to add or anything, I think it might be too late. So I really hope that you're going to like it. I hope that you're going to get all the information that you were wanting, and I hope it's going to be a nice way to round off the series. I apologise if the background noise in this clip is a little bit annoying. I just filmed the outro clip for the Half-Blood Prince reading vlog, and I also just filmed the intro clip for this reading vlog. My plan for today is to finish editing the Half-Blood Prince reading vlog now that I have the outro clip, and hopefully get that uploaded because I do have a couple of busy days coming up. And also we're going to read more of this book. I did want to read more of this book yesterday, but something really strange happened yesterday, and it's not really reading related, but it had an impact on my reading, so I'm just going to share it with you guys. So basically, my plan yesterday was that I was going to come home, have something to eat, and read more of my book. And that was my plan. And I was sat eating my food, my Sunday dinner, and all of a sudden, the vision in this eye started to go really funny. So at this point I thought, I think I'm potentially getting a migraine. Like, I've never had a migraine before. But then what happened is I finished having my dinner and I was talking to my mum, and all of a sudden I got pins and needles in my hand and then it travelled up my arm. Couldn't feel it. It was as if it had been numbed and I just couldn't feel my arm like at all. My face started to do the same, and the only way I can describe it to you is I felt like I was squinting, but I wasn't squinting, and it was only on one side of my face. My lip and my tongue, again on this side, felt like they were just numb. But then literally it must have been, I'm not even kidding, maybe about 6 or 7 minutes later, which is very specific, I felt completely fine. But I made the decision that obviously I was not feeling well on a general sense, and I decided the best thing that I could do was just get an early night. And I got up this morning, I feel a hell of a lot better. The way that I've been treating these reading vlogs as I've been reading them is when I've had days of not reading, if it's been in relation to I had to take time off of reading but I really wanted to read, I've shared that in the vlog. But if it's a case of I just wanted to take a few days off of reading, I haven't really mentioned it. I'm not going to go into it anymore because you are not here for my health updates. You're here for the reading. So the plan for the rest of today is to edit the Half-Blood Prince reading vlog and read more of this book. I've almost finished editing the Half-Blood Prince reading vlog. It's not finished editing yet, and it's 50 minutes long. But another reason that I wanted to just quickly come and talk to you in this vlog about the reading vlog, because this camera battery is running out, is obviously editing the vlog. I'm seeing back the thoughts and things that I was sharing at the time, and it's really reminded me how much I enjoyed the 6th book. It's an hour long, so that is definitely gonna have to be cut down now. I have literally just got to my dad's, I've turned the computer on, I've started uploading the Half-Blood Prince reading vlog because today is Wednesday and the vlog is due to go up today at 6 PM. I thought today, whilst I'm waiting for the vlog to upload, the main aim of the day can be to read as much of this book as possible. Slight side note, but the reason that I want to do as much reading today as I possibly can is because I am planning to take part in an art challenge in October, but you do your prep in September, and tomorrow, as I'm filming this clip, the prompt list for the art challenge is going to be released. On Friday, it's my birthday, so I'm going to be out all day, I have plans, so I'm not going to get all that much done on Friday either. Doesn't leave much time for reading this book.
Moody has just said to Harry, our only chance is to use decoys, even you know who can't split himself into 7. And if you saw my last reading vlog, you'll probably know what I'm thinking.
I think I've mentioned briefly in this vlog that in October there's an art challenge that I want to take part in. In September you can do the prep for it once the prompt list has been released. Well, the prompt list was released this morning, but the reason that I'm mentioning it is because the prompt list got released whilst I was asleep. If you don't know how it works, basically there's a prompt for every day of October. So I was reading the prompt list, and you know, there's a whole bunch of different things on there, and prompt number 14, which will be posted on the 14th of October, the prompt for that day is Burrow. My first thought was the Burrow where the Weasleys live. That's why I'm mentioning it, because obviously this is the Harry Potter reading vlog, but I'm mentioning it because how funny is it that now that these books are, what's the word? Like, I'm more aware of them, I'm more aware of the concepts in them and things. The prompt in the art challenge made me think of something Harry Potter related. There's also another prompt that made me think of something Harry Potter related, but the other prompt is a little bit more obvious for something Harry Potter related. It's prompt number 16, and that's owl, which I feel like is a bit more of an obvious one. Probably won't draw the borough where the Weasleys live because I'm not actually sure in the art challenge if you can draw like fan art, but maybe I'll draw like a wonky house or something. So I'm about to do some editing, but before I do that, I thought I would just tell you a little bit about what I read yesterday in the book, and then I'm going to do my editing, and whilst my video is uploading, I'm going to read more of my book. Of course, I did film clips of me reading yesterday, but I didn't do any talking because it was like late. I am on page 88, which is chapter 7, so I'm not like massively far into the book, but I have made progress since last speaking to you. I think I've read either 3 or 4 more chapters. I didn't make any notes, so hopefully I can remember off the top of my head what I read. So not last night, but the night before, I think it was, I read about the Dursleys and how the Dursleys and Harry aren't going to live together anymore. The Dursleys have moved out of Privet Drive. Hermione and Ron have said that they're going with Harry to find the Horcruxes. We've got like someone potentially dead, missing. Oh my god, how can I not mention Hedwig? That bit was too much for me. Someone's like potentially dead or missing. Someone's missing an ear. And we're not even 100 pages into this book yet. So admittedly, I haven't really done much reading today because today, as I'm filming this clip, is actually my birthday. So I haven't actually got much reading done, but my plan is to do some reading tonight before I go to bed. But I just thought I would show you one of my birthday purchases that sort of relates to the reading vlog, and this might seem a little bit excessive based on the fact that I haven't finished reading the series yet. I knew that I wanted to buy myself some Lego for my birthday, and I was looking all around the Lego shop and didn't know what I wanted to buy. And then I saw this thing and I ummed and ahed, went back and forth, and in the end I decided to buy this. I thought it was quite generic, so I thought this was like a nice thing to kind of get, even though I haven't finished the series yet. And then because I'd spent over a certain amount of money, I can't remember how much it was, I got like a little like figurine thing. Draco in the Forbidden Forest. I am just getting ready and I thought I would just quickly tell you about today's plan. Today is the 7th of September, it's the day after my birthday. I know I mentioned very briefly yesterday that it was my birthday and I hadn't done any reading during the day because I'd been out. And then when I got home I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a bit of reading like later on when I'm ready to settle down. I've been uploading the reading vlogs once a week on a Wednesday, and we've had one go up every single Wednesday. And this coming Wednesday, which is the 11th, the Deathly Hallows reading vlog is due to go up. And because I've got right to the final one, keeping to the schedule, I don't want to ruin it now. And I realised last night that today is gonna be the last day that I'm gonna get a chance to film for the Deathly Hallows reading vlog, particularly the outro. So I tried to do some reading last night. I actually read a couple of chapters and then I was just so tired. I had to admit defeat and be like, okay, I'm just gonna go to sleep. So I got up early, I've made myself a cup of tea to like spur me on. Then once I've done my makeup, I am going to read the book. I can't remember off the top of my head how far into the book I am. I think I'm 100 and something pages into the book. I'm not going to film consistently because I'm probably going to be reading for a couple of like hours, so I'm obviously not going to film consistently, but I'm going to read and record my reactions in real time rather than in the past when I've like wrote things down and told you them afterwards. I apologise for the lighting in this clip. For some reason today in Britain it is so dark. So as you can see, I'm like pretty much ready now for the day. I've done my makeup. I haven't done anything with my hair as of right now. I've just took the rollers out of the front. So I know yesterday in the vlog I showed you something that I bought myself for my birthday. And after I finished filming that clip, my mum's partner actually came home from work and gave me a little gift bag with some little birthday gifts in it, which is very, very sweet. The reason that I'm showing you these is because they're also reading related. So there's a couple of things in this bag. I'm not going to show you all of them. So if you aren't aware, which you won't be, I actually unintentionally started a collection of novelty socks. I don't really know how, but the reason that I'm showing you these is because she bought me a pair that say, you're not really going to be able to see them very well, but they're like a black pair of socks, and then on the bottom of them they say, Master has given Dobby a sock, and then on the other foot it says, Dobby is free. He's been following along with my little reading journey. And then the other thing that she gave me, or one of the other things that she gave me, which isn't Harry Potter related, but it's reading related, so I thought I would just show it you. It's a little metal bookmark, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to read what it says. I just thought that was really like funny, and the chain has a little book charm at the end of it, so I thought that was really sweet. Just to give you some book context before I start my reading of whereabouts I am at in the book. I've got a hair on my hand. I'm on page 128, which is chapter 9. Something else that I've just remembered that I read yesterday is that Harry has now turned 17. So all of his like protections have stopped. So Harry wants to go back to Grimmauld Place, and Ron and Hermione are saying like, but Snape can get in there, and Harry's like, no, I want to meet Snape. Like, I want to see Snape, like, face to face, basically. I think that's going to be something in this book. I think that as this book progresses, in contrast to Half-Blood Prince, I feel like Half-Blood Prince has made us think that Snape is this outright bad guy, where, like, he, in some senses, betrayed them. But I think in this book, we're going to kind of see that he's misunderstood in some ways, and that, like, he's made decisions that he thought was best. And I think at some point in this book, we're going to see what I've said in some of the previous reading vlogs, which is Snape has made all of these decisions for Harry's sake, I think, because of Snape's feelings for Harry's mum. I am convinced that Snape's treatment of Harry over the series has not just been because he knew Harry's parents. I mean, we saw the memory where Harry's dad was tormenting Snape when they were younger, and Harry's mum kind of came to his defence. How all of that has played out to get us to this point is gonna kind of come to light in this book. So I've just taken a very, very brief pause from reading my book just because my sister messaged me to say that she'd got a parcel coming. But I thought whilst I had just paused my reading, I thought I would just mention a couple of comments that I got on the previous reading vlog, so the one for Half-Blood Prince. I got one that says, I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't yet read Deathly Hallows, but you may be more observant than most when reading this. I feel like there's a couple of reasons why I have kind of, I guess, come across as more observant. Number one, the fact that I'm reading these as a 28-year-old, 28-year-old. If I was reading them as a child, I probably wouldn't have picked up on them. And another reason why I feel like I picked up on a couple of things as well is because I read all of these books so close together. And then another comment that I liked was one that said, I can't wait for you to read about spoiler when they spoiler. No, but for real, you figuring out who the Half-Blood Prince is, as well as being pretty on point with what you think is going to happen, is awesome to see. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on Deathly Hallows. Something that occurred to me in my brain when I read both of these comments is, I've had a few comments on varying of the reading vlogs that have been on a similar wavelength of like, oh, it was nice to hear your theory about this, I can't believe you figured out this, like that type of thing. The thing that comes to my mind when I read these comments is maybe I have to come to terms with the fact that the chances of me being a Ravenclaw are pretty high. People keep telling me that they think I'd be a Ravenclaw and so on. Yeah, I think it could be true, you know. Lupin and Tonks are having a baby, and that's why she's not here, and she's hiding with a parent's house. I feel like I shouldn't get too attached to that idea though. Do you know what? We're on the final book in the series, and I think I'm noticing more. So, obviously, as the series has progressed, what? As the series has progressed, they've grown up, they've got older, and Harry is now 17, and he's acting like a 17-year-old would, so can't say anything about that. However, he literally gets on my nerves. The way he's just spoke to Lupin, I don't know how that's gonna play out in the rest of the book, but the way that he just spoke to Lupin about leaving Tonks at a parent's house to go and help him, and I know it's because, you know, like he's saying a parent shouldn't leave their child and like this, that and the other. They haven't had this child yet, like calm down. I'm so like matter of fact about these things. Like in my mind I'd be like, okay, she hasn't had the child yet, she's safe, okay. And I get that he's just wanting him to go back to Tonks and to be with her and protect her and like all, and their child and like all of this kind of stuff, but the way that he's like going about it, just like I don't get it. What's her name now? Oh, Harry was doing the detentions with Umbridge, I think. I'm sure that's what her name was. Has she got the locket? Is that who Mundungus Fletcher gave it to? The scars on the back of his right hand seem to be tingling again. She's got it. Snape's become headmaster of Hogwarts. So at least we know where he is and what he's doing. I just said that to you and I carried on reading a little bit, and then I got to the bit where it says, "Thanks, creature," said Harry, flipping over the prophet so as to not have to look at Snape's face. Well, at least we know exactly where Snape is now. I'm on page 199, which is chapter 13, and they've just found Umbridge at the Ministry. So they're still on the search for the missing Horcruxes, and Harry keeps suggesting Hogwarts. He thinks that Hogwarts could be the place to find some of these Horcruxes, or at least one of them. They were talking about in the memory that Harry saw, Voldemort went for a job at Hogwarts, and Dumbledore didn't end up giving him one, so he had no access to any of the objects there. I think makes sense. However, what if he didn't get the objects from Hogwarts, but Hogwarts is where he's hiding them? I'm just using my theory that I've been using for the past couple of reading vlogs, which is nothing is mentioned on accident, everything's mentioned on purpose, and Harry is really thinking about Hogwarts and that Hogwarts is going to play some part in these Horcruxes. I'm not necessarily thinking that all of the Horcruxes are going to be there, or all of the remaining Horcruxes are going to be there, but maybe some of them will be. So if you've been keeping up with all of these reading vlogs, well done, because you've been here for 7 weeks. I would just like to point that out to you. But if you've been keeping up with these reading vlogs, then you'll know that I think it was in the first reading vlog for Philosopher's Stone, I said that I had never read this series before, but there were some things that I was aware of just simply because Harry Potter merch and things are everywhere, but obviously I had no context to any of it. I didn't know what any of it meant. One of the things that I was aware of was I really hope I'm not getting this wrong, the Deathly Hallows symbol. And I think I've just come across it in this book. It says, look at that symbol, she said, pointing to the top of the page, above what Harry assumed was the title of the story, being unable to read ruins. He could not be sure. There was a picture of what looked like a triangular eye, its pupil crossed with a vertical line. I have no idea what it means. I have no idea what it's going to lead to. But I'm pretty sure that that's what they're seeing. But I'm only aware of the symbol because of what it's kind of taken in real life. So I think they've just come across the Deathly Hallows symbol, but I have no idea what it means and what it's going to kind of symbolise or do. So Harry and Hermione are in Godric's Hollow, and they've just discovered 2 tombstones. It's the one of Dumbledore's relatives, and then one is the one of Harry's parents. There's something significant about the fact that these tombstones say these things. Now, obviously, like, tombstones usually have messages on them. These messages are going to be of some significance, and it seems funny to me that one is talking about a heart, like treasure and heart, and the other is talking about enemy and death. I think this is going to link to... I don't think it's written there necessarily to tell Harry about, like, defeating Voldemort, but I think it's going to link to something to do with Harry's parents died protecting him. His dad died protecting his mum and him, and his mum died protecting him, and their tombstone says, the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. I feel like this is going to link back to the idea of these people died because of their love for people, whereas Voldemort has no love, and the love that people have for Harry, like the people around him, the love that they have for him has carried him through to this point. I don't know. I know what I'm thinking, but I don't know how to describe it. So it turns out that the chapter actually finished on the next page, and I've just read a section that I feel like links to what I'm trying to say, so I'm just going to tell you what it says. His heart still beating, alive because of their sacrifice, and close to wishing at this moment that he was sleeping under the snow with them. Could this all link back to what was said about his mother's love protected him and has protected him up to now, up to him turning 17, you know, the kind of protections he had from her ended when he turned 17. Could it all kind of link to this? Ron's left. Ron's gone. There's only Harry and Hermione at this point. And he left because he was in such a grump and he was hungry. To be honest, Ron's so real for that. I feel like part of his grumpiness was because of the locket. And this idea that when they've got it on, it makes them grumpy and like all this kind of stuff. I get hungry. So I really can't judge Ron for being hungry either. Oh, is it going to tell me what he did to them? Harry is thinking that he wants to throw the snitch away that Dumbledore left for him in the will, because he says that it's impenetrable, unhelpful, useless, like everything else Dumbledore had left behind. It's not useless. It's not. I don't really know how it's going to play out, but these items that Dumbledore left for Harry, Ron and Hermione in his will are all going to come back to help them with everything that's going on. I can't remember the name of the item that Ron had been left in the will, but that item, the book that Hermione was left, and the snitch are all going to help in some way. I have just got to chapter 19, which is page 296, which means that I am just under halfway through this book. I am not going to get this book finished in time to film the outro today. I'm not going to rush to finish it today. If I get it finished today, great. I just read the chapter, what's it called? The Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore. And it's going back to this like book that Rita Skeeter was writing. This feeling that Harry has of the fact that Dumbledore didn't tell him everything and didn't tell him things, and kind of only told him half a story, Harry is taking it as like, he didn't want to tell me, why didn't he want to tell me? And he's getting really defensive about the fact that Dumbledore didn't tell him certain things, and that he had to find them out for himself. I could be wrong, and this could be the Albus Dumbledore in me seeing the good in people when it's not really there. But I get the impression that Dumbledore didn't tell Harry certain things because either he thought he didn't need to know, or because he knew that Harry needed to discover it for himself at the right time. He didn't want to just pile all this information on him and all this stuff on him and influence his decisions. He knew he needed to find it out on himself. And this kind of links to Snape as well. I feel like Dumbledore and Snape are both two characters who are making decisions that they think are going to benefit and protect and aid Harry. In some senses, their decisions might be a bit conflicting, you know, and obviously Dumbledore is now gone from the series, so something I just remembered whilst I was reading is a couple of chapters ago, the chapter that I read, The Silver Door, which was where Harry managed to get the sword. I'm trying to think if we've heard of anyone's Patronus that is that, and also who are the possibilities. Who could have potentially had the sword and put it there? See, I can think of a few people who might have wanted to help, but I feel like they wouldn't have had access to the sword. I don't know, I can't work out, like, who would have had access to the sword and would have been able to put it at the bottom of the lake? And how and why? They've caught them and they're planning to take them to Voldemort. So Bellatrix has realised that they've got the sword and she's asking where they got it from because it was in her vault at Gringotts. Usually I cut these bits out where I'm just kind of sat thinking, but I'm going to leave it in to show you guys what I was talking about me actually like racking my brains about it. If she's on about the sword that they have, which is the real one, and that is true, like Snape put it in the vault, then how did it get back out and how did it end up at the bottom of the lake? But this is now making me think Snape knew about this. So did Snape put it at the bottom of the lake? Or is that to do with the fake one? I'll keep reading and I'll see what develops in my mind. What chapter I'm on. I just got to my dad's and the plan for today is to edit the majority of this reading vlog that you're watching right now. And then the other thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to finish reading this book. The book itself is 620 pages long and I am on page 521, so we have pretty much 100 pages left. I wrote these points last night because they were points that I wanted to remember to mention to you. For some of these things that I'm going to talk to you about, there will have been clips of me reading, but I'm telling you these things because the clips will have been silent clips. Dobby has died. Now, I knew that Dobby died at some point in this series. I didn't know when and I didn't know how. I have gone past the part where Dobby died. My mum's partner asked me, I mentioned that I'd read the bit where Dobby dies, and my mum's partner asked me, did you at least feel a little bit teary? And honestly, I didn't feel sad that he died. even though obviously it's sad, but like I didn't feel sad that he died. I felt sad the way that it happened. Like I felt sad that he died trying to help them and trying to save them. Destroyed all of the Horcruxes apart from one in their mind, which is the snake. But my theory is that there's going to be 7 Horcruxes and Harry is going to be one of them. So I'm assuming by that logic then there will be some type of battle between Harry and Voldemort. Also, Fred has died. I didn't feel as sad about that because I didn't really have a liking for the Weasley twins. I didn't dislike them, but they just weren't really all that significant to me. The reason I'm telling you these points is because these are the significant points that gave me like thoughts. So the battle has begun and Snape has run away from Hogwarts. However, I get the feeling that this is not going to be the last that we're going to hear of Snape. I don't think that that's how Snape's story is going to end. I don't think it's going to end with Snape ran away and was a coward. Like, that just doesn't make sense for me and his sort of character. I very easily could have finished this book last night. I was getting a little bit tired, but I'm only 100 pages from the end, which isn't that much really, so I could have finished it last night. But I thought to myself, do you know what? This is the final book. It's the final reading vlog. I'm going to save the final 100 pages to read with you guys. Can you see him? I know I already mentioned this, but I'm on page 521, so we have 100 pages left. So Voldemort has the Elder Wand, but the Elder Wand doesn't work because it only works for the person who killed the last person who had it. So because Dumbledore had it and Snape killed him, so is Voldemort gonna kill Snape so that the wand works for him? It cannot be any other way, said Voldemort. I must master the wand, Severus. Master the wand, and I master Potter at last. Voldemort's gonna kill Snape. I'm getting this feeling. And Harry knew what it was, but did not know what to do. Has he gave him his memories? Like, he wants him to have them for him to understand why he's done what he's done. I'm just imagining like what it could be, and I'm thinking it's the memories for him to put into the pensieve, because that's kind of how they were described before when they got them from other people. The hand holding Harry thudded to the floor and Snape moved no more. No way. Lupin and Tonks. The fact that I've just read that, so basically I've just done a bit more editing on the vlog that you're watching, and I've just edited the bit. Obviously it's only the rough cut, so I don't know if it'll make it into the final cut. I think it will, but I just edited the bit where I said I didn't like how Harry was speaking to Lupin about him leaving Tonks, and I knew it was because Harry wanted Lupin to protect Tonks, but she was safe at her parents. He's run into the pensieve to see what Snape's memory was that he collected. Snape just called Petunia a muggle in the memory. So Snape knew Lily before he even went to Hogwarts. I was under the impression that he knew of her at Hogwarts. But if he knew her before, that changes everything. Like, this is someone he's known, like, a long time. Well, not in recent years because she's dead, but Snape were trying to protect her. It was planned all along for Snape to kill Dumbledore. I guessed. And while that fragment of soul, unmissed by Voldemort, remains attached to and protected by Harry, Lord Voldemort cannot die. Snape's Patronus is a silver doe, so Snape put the sword at the bottom of the lake. Snape's been trying to help him this entire time. Not because of him, but because of his love for Lily. But he's been trying to help him this whole time. I said, I had no idea this was going to happen, but I said, this is why he feels the way he does about Harry. And I also said that I felt like Snape was going to be one of those characters where he's portrayed one way, but he's actually completely different. He was made out to be this bad guy the entire time, when in reality, is he a bad guy? Also, I just really quickly have to show you Twinny because he looks adorable. The camera battery ran out as I was zooming in before, but look at him! He's also snoring so loud. I thought it was just going to be a simple, oh, like I was in love with her and he happens to be her son and like all of this. I did not think it was going to go this deep. That he's been like relaying these messages. He's been, you know, spying one way, spying the other way. Like, Dumbledore watched her fly away, and as her silvery glow faded, he turned back to Snape, and his eyes were full of tears. After all this time, always, said Snape. Oh my god, they even plotted the escape. Headmaster, they are camping in the Forest of Dean, the Mudblood. Do not use that word. That's from Lily, that. Snape put the sword in the lake. But he did it all still without knowing why he was actually having to do it. And you still aren't going to tell me why it's so important to give Potter the sword, said Snape, as he swung a travelling cloak over his robes. No, I don't think so, said Dumbledore's portrait. He'll know what to do with it. Surely he's not just going to give up. Like, he's talking to his parents, Sirius, Lupin, and we're talking to him about dying. But surely he's not just going to give up. After all this, surely not. He's come face to face with him. Has Harry let him kill him? But in reality, it's killed the part of Voldemort that existed in Harry, but hasn't actually killed Harry. He's told him, you were the seventh Horcrux, Harry, the Horcrux he never meant to make. The final chapter, and then we do have the like epilogue part at the end, so. She lied and said that he's dead. Oh, he's making Hagrid carry him, thinking he's dead. The Elder Wand belongs to Draco. That's it for all the chapters in real time. Now we're jumping 19 years later. Oh. Finished. So I just finished reading the final book in the Harry Potter series, and I actually can't believe that it's over. Like, I really truly cannot believe that it's over. I finally read the Harry Potter series after all this time. This is it. It's all finished. That is the reading vlog for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Now I'm going to get into my rating and my mini review like I have done at the end of each of these videos, and then that's going to be it. So I actually rated this book 4 stars in the end, and I have a couple of reasons why. Although this is not my favourite book in the series, I don't think I did really enjoy it, and I did think it was one of the more kind of eventful books in the series. I also think that this book had some of my favourite concepts and plot points. I'm not sure if this is going to make sense to any of you who've read the series before, but I also really like Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallows as a pair. Like, them following on from each other I thought was like the perfect structure for the series. There were a couple of things that happened in this book that I already knew were going to happen. I didn't know that they were going to happen in this book, and I didn't know exactly how they were going to happen, but like Dobby, I knew that that was coming at some point in the series. I didn't know where, so when I actually got to it in this book, it did make me feel a little bit emotional. Something that really took me by surprise in this book was the plot about Draco. I did not see any of that coming, especially with the Elder Wand. I do also like that there was a little bit included at the end to jump you forward and kind of see how life had progressed and continued after the ending of the story. As I've mentioned a couple of times in this video, I do plan to do a reading wrap-up video that will be up after this one, probably like a week after or something like that if you're watching these in real time. I'm sure if you engage with book content on YouTube you'll know exactly what a reading wrap-up is, but my plan is to do a complete wrap-up of the series where I talk to you about the series as a whole in one video, because even though I've mentioned things in all 7 of these videos, sometimes it can be hard to keep up with things. So if you have enjoyed these reading vlogs, then be sure to keep an eye out for the wrap-up video. Overall, between me reading Philosopher's Stone to me reading Deathly Hallows, it took me just a little bit over a month. But that is going to be it for this reading vlog. I can't believe that it's over. Like, I can't believe that I've read the series and that these reading vlogs and this reading series has come to an end. I do plan to do more reading vlogs in the future with other books that I read, so if you are interested in that type of content then maybe consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. There might be something here that you would like to see. I just want to say a big thank you to anyone who has engaged with these reading vlogs, whether you've watched one of them, all of them, liked them, commented on them. I just want to say a big thank you. If you are going to subscribe and you are going to stick around, I shall see you again in my next video. And if you were just here for the reading vlogs, thank you so much for watching them. Don't forget that there will be a wrap-up video after this video, and maybe I'll see you again next time. Bye guys! In today's reading vlog, we're going to be reading Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.